A very good afternoon to all of you. And today we will discuss the introduction to bailment. In simple words, we all see bailment happening every day around. Within your classroom, you exchange sometimes mobile, sometimes pen, copies, and similar stuff. Though we have been doing such kind of activities in regular life, but I believe we never thought from the legal point of view that what can be the consequences. So, as a friend, we may be exchanging some means objects with each other, but we may not have the intentions to create legal relationships. But sometimes what happens is that we have reason to believe that we cannot give something to any other person in the absence of very clear terms and conditions. Maybe the good is quite costly, or maybe for some any specific reason. So what happens is we try to create a kind of contract and we deliver those things under that contract. So what we see in everyday contractual obligations is bailment. So this is a brief introduction of this whole concept. But if we ask a layman and we ask an educated person with the legal background, so answer may be absolutely different for the same kinds of action. So what is bailment? And it can be depositing, delivery, legal transfer, library. So though we are not here, discussing the very legal meaning of bailment as given in the Indian Contract Act through this slide, but we can understand that this basically involves few things like delivery or say legal transfer of delivery or depositing something for the time being. So these situations in real commercial life can create bailment, and the very purpose of this slide is to make you people understand that as a law student we should look at various activities happening around us where we can term them bailment. Bailment has been defined very clearly in Indian Contract Act section 148, and a very clear perusal of this section will make the related concepts of bailment very much clear to one and all. So as per section 148, the bailment is the delivery of goods by one person to another for some purpose upon a contract that they shall, when the purpose is accomplished, be returned or otherwise disposed of according to the direction of person delivering them. The person delivering the good is called as bailer, and the person to whom they are delivered or called as bailee. And there's a small explanation attached with these sections which read, if a person is already in possession of goods of other contracts to hold them as a bailee, he thereby becomes the bailee and the owner becomes the bailer of such goods, although they may not have been delivered by way of bailment. So what we have to make clear from this thing is that actually it is speaking of two kinds of deliveries. One is actual delivery and the second is the constructive delivery. So we will look at it at a bit later stage. So what we have to understand at this very point is that bailment is the delivery of the goods. Delivery of the goods means we hand over the possession of that particular good to bailee for that particular purpose for which the good is intended. And it is also a terms of this contract that once the purpose is over, the good will be returned back to the bailer. And the very necessary thing here is that the delivery of that particular good, it must take place upon a contract. So in the absence of a contract, there can be no bailment. And we are not saying that it should be a written contract. Contract here means the contract as given into the Indian contract. So what you have to understand at this particular point is that there should be minimum two parties. Both must enter into a contract. That contract should basically help in deliver some particular goods to another person, where it is undertaken that once the purpose is over, it will be returned back to the bailee or it will be disposed of as per the directions. So this plain reading of section 148 makes it bit clear that there are some essential elements of bailment. If we have to identify whether there was a bailment or not for legal purpose, we have to look at the essential ingredient or characteristics of the bill. So the first and foremost is the delivery of the goods or the delivery of the possession. What makes sense here is that for this section to operate, either there should be actual delivery or there should be a constructive delivery of the goods. When the bailer hands over the bailee physical possession of the goods, this is what we call as the actual delivery. So if you are having, say, a pen and somebody wishes to have it for writing one answer, and you give your pen to him in his hand. So this is basically actual delivery of the goods. And the constructive delivery basically means that the pen was already into the hand of B and he just asked for your permission that can I use your pen to write the answer, and you say yes. So this is the constructive delivery. So what the point we have to make clear here is that the delivery of the good or the delivery of the possession is very much essential as the requirement for bailment. Then there is the delivery should be upon a contract. If there is no contract, there is no bailment. There is a very famous case of Ram Gulam versus government of UP. And this what happened is the plaintiff ornaments they were stolen and were recovered by the police. And while it was in the police custody, they were stolen again. Then the plaintiff's action against the state for the loss was dismissed. Isn't it strange? That once it was stolen, then it was recovered by the police, then again it was stolen from the police custody, and when the plaintiff went to the court, it was dismissed. Why? Here it was made clear that the obligation of a bailee is contractual obligation and springs only from the contract of bailment. It cannot arise independently of a contract. In this case, the ornament were not handed over to the government under any contract whatsoever, and therefore the government never occupied the position of bailee and is not liable as such to indemnify the plaintiff. So what we have to understand through this case is that to make a valid bailment, it is very much necessary that the possession must be through the contract. If it is not through the contract, there will be no bailment. And the delivery should be upon some purpose, and once the purpose have been accomplished, it must be returned bill. If it will not be returned, or say if there is no intention to get it returned, then sorry, there is no bailment. Or here what we can understand is return also includes disposing of the good as per the directions of the bailer. So whatever the directions the bailer has given, if the bailee follows those directions and simply dispose of the good or deliver the good once the purpose is over, according to those directions, then it will be considered that the bailment is over. So it is very much necessary that once the purpose is over, the goods must be returned or must be disposed of as per the directions of the bailer. So I hope this makes it very much clear the concept of bailment in nutshell. Thank you very much.